So here we are, we've got the owner's manual and a note, iMini, which is with an L2. If we come down here and have a look at the note she's written. So, I come into this place, I can't even see the dog. And Ethel turns up. Look at Ethel. Look at Ethel. Hello, mate. You alright? Look at you. Look at you, eh? You're like a greyhoundy type dog. You know what they should call you? You're that thin. Call you roof rack. So here we have the electrode, which clearly is on its way out, if not completely knackered. So it's actually detached, but clearly that's never going to work properly. So at least it didn't drop into the bottom. That's your new one there. And we've got a new electrode as well. So I'm going to clean it all up. Okay, so we're here, and this is the inside of this heat exchanger. Now, straight away I'm a bit worried because this is very damp here. Don't know if you can see that. Well, I'm hoping you can. But that top left-hand corner looks very wet. I'm trying to rinse this all out. I think, if I'm honest, it might be game over here. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and it looks to me like there's a split in the exchanger there. That to me is a leak. So that's game over for this heat exchanger. So just to prove it, we dry this off so it's bone dry, and then we keep an eye on it, see if it gets wet. You can already see it pooling at the back, can't you? Yeah. It's already soaked. Split heat exchanger. Gonna have a happy customer here. Right, so we're here day 2, and so we're going to isolate the boiler, and you can see the boiler pressure has dropped from 1.25 down to 1/4 of a bar or thereabouts. So we're going to isolate the boiler on everything. It's been left overnight, and it's pretty cold in here. It's 12 degrees in this flat, so the people have had no hot water, no heating overnight. So as I say, we're going to strip this heat exchanger out. Just before any of you people think that I didn't leave it isolated. Cap on the valve, that's isolated. Drain, get this thing out and get a new one in. So this is the way I find is easiest to drain this. Okay, so that was bone dry yesterday when I left here, and you can see it now. Soaking wet. Our findings are correct there, so we're going to whip this out. We'll pop the expansion vessel out, take out the bulk of this stuff, pull it out. That's it, we'll crack on. We'll pop the gas valve out, so loosen off that. There's a little collar behind it. Whip that off, just loosen that, slip that forward. Clearly we've got the gas isolated, and there's a couple of you can see it's been running through there overnight. What I'm going to do is just pop this off. Try not to suck up all of the bits. Good way of cleaning out the condense. Over again, and we can also check expansion while we're doing this. Loosen the bottom, that's off, that seems dry. Just need to get on these, so we'll get a ratchet. So this is a little bracket that holds this. It comes out. Now we can just pop this out, put your finger over the end. So the way I'm going to choose to take this out is this way. I'm going to loosen that off, and I'm going to take that and that nut off, and hopefully the whole thing will come out. So loosen off that. If there's any water, get the hoover. So pop that off. That's off. Right, loosen that. Yeah. This is probably the lower of the two, this one, so if there's going to be any water in it, it'll probably be in this one. So just give it a little wriggle. There we go, a tiny bit. Well, I think that's pretty much empty now. Okay, so a towel on that, just in case there's any spillage when we come to lift it out. I've never done one of these before, it's quite funny. In fact, it's very rare that I have to change heat exchangers, because most of the time when they go wrong, they're quite old and people just want to replace the boiler, but this chap couldn't afford it, so he asked me to repair it. So what can you do but oblige? It's quite an expensive job, but that's what he wants. That's what he gets. Isn't that right? Customers are always right. So those two are off. So that's us. Now it's out. You can clearly see there the crack split all the way through that. If I'm honest, the rest of it doesn't seem that bad, but split is a split. I've popped the guts of this back on, so we've got our two flowing returns. This one here, it's got the washer already on the bottom there, and the other side is there. So we'll pop this back in, and it has to catch on the back. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I've changed this. That's it. We're going to pop it back in now. Twist that one round a bit. Space. That's us. That's us locked in. Put these two securing screws in. That's essentially in. Because these are all brass to plastic, do them hand tight first and then tighten them up. So this one over here is a bit of a twist around. So twist that round. So this one over here is secured by the mere fact that there's pressure in there. I was surprised that there wasn't a clip on there like that, but clearly they don't have enough space there. And so the way I would do this is I would secure this up, and then I would just check for leaks, because this could get a bit complicated once it's all in there, trying to faff around, trying to sort out leaks on here. So you can check here and you can check over there, and then if need be you can change the rubbers, whatever. I didn't change them on this because I'm confident that these were okay. These are quite awkward. Should have really got my thingy spanner, but it's out in the van and I'm in here. In theory we can put the water back on that, dry everything up, make sure it doesn't leak. Good job I didn't, because yeah, clearly you've got an open end here. It's going to pour out, isn't it? Quickly put the expansion back in. Come on. Fucking thing. So what it is about sometimes these fucking screws. This is where you need 3 hands. I'm not going to over tighten it, because in the past that's probably what's given it grief. in theory all sealed now, so we can turn it back on and see if we got any leaks. Keep your fingers crossed. Pop some pressure back in. I'm looking for a leak on that bloody thing, because that will be the first thing. 1/4 bar, 3/4. Almost 1. Getting up there. Check for leaks. Nothing. Nothing. I almost thought, God, it's almost like, yeah, I'm expecting it. Anyway, doesn't seem to have any leaks, so that's good. Bingo. Pull this seal off here. I'm not really that pleased with it, so for the sake of what it is, I managed to get a replacement, which is quite strange. Not sure how, but I've ended up with it. Pop that on there. That's our nice new seal. Lucky chappy. Put our bracket back on. We've got somewhere to put our gas valve. That's us secure. Lily will check this all for tightness. So let's put our diverter back in. Get that out of our way. Got a clip here somewhere. God only knows where now. Diverter goes in. So this is the electronic diverter head. So it actuates and pulls in and pushes out. Got the central heating and hot water. And I am struggling to get in there. Okay. Right, that's in. First one on the hit list, the earth. Yep. Gas valve connections. Come up a little bit further, you'll have the spark. Let's put our fan in. 2 lugs at the back. Just pop that up. Don't tighten it up yet. I've marked the top of this just in case there's an orientation. I don't think there is an orientation. I'm showing you these little tips just in case, because on some boilers they are orientated, so they will only fit one way. And it'll be a shame if you spend all of that time just for the sake of you marking it up and struggling with something, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Now I cleaned this before, so tighten that up. So that's our electrics to our fan. Should be another one, and this one here is round the back to the flow. I think it's the flow thermistor. Pop it behind that clip. Looks like that clips for that. Maybe it goes like that. That would seem the sensible thing. So we'll have a spark generator, which I've totally forgotten to put in. It's not the end of the world. If it was, it'd be very dark. Okay. Push that on. Rectification here. Push that all the way around. And then just our spark electrode, which goes on there. And that is pretty much it. Pop that in there. Yep. Just check for a few leaks, just in case. Seems dry to me. Time to pop this on. Push that back. Twist. Okay, push that down. And last but not least, little clamp on here. Push that right down. Make sure that's in like so. This is on the lowest setting on here, so you can just tweak it up yourself. So that's it all back in. Flick the gas on, put the spur in, fire it up. Quick prime. This is fine. pressure thing, so we'll give it a little bit more juice. So there you go, fired up, got our heating on, flow's getting warm. Check our hot water in a minute. Can leave it on for a few minutes while it settles down. Put the casing on, do our safety checks, check that we've got no leaks. That's how you do a heat exchanger on an Ideal Mini.